This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Meltzer would continue that perhaps Warrior's coming in because Diesel and Ramon and internally you guys may have feared other guys may be leaving. So if you're about to potentially lose some star power, you need to make some concessions and get some star power back. Did that play into Vince's rationale for being interested in talking to Warrior again here in 96? The idea that he might be losing some guys?
We were already negotiating with Warrior long before we knew we were losing guys.
Let's talk about this WCW rumor. This is from the March 4th issue of the Observer. Diesel, the other half of the twosome wildly rumored all week to be WCW bound, also missed the weekend shows with a degree of controversy somewhat attached. Diesel suffered a combination separated and fractured shoulder, apparently early in the In Your House cage match against Bret Hart. The injury may partially or totally explain the poor quality of that match compared with previous matches the two have had. Diesel did swing an axe pretty good the next night in the Angle, where he destroyed Undertaker's casket and also worked against Bob Holly, but didn't work the Superstars taping the next night, where they were scheduled to hold the first triple threat match involving himself, Bret, and Undertaker in Virginia. Diesel was said to have been unhappy with that headline program, even though it figured to be a big draw. In that match, Diesel was pulled due to the injury, and Hart wrestled Undertaker for the title, with Diesel's interference leading to Undertaker getting pinned. It was expected that similar endings were planned for the weekend, with a series of shows at Continental Arena, formerly the Meadowlands, the Pittsburgh Civic Center, and the Gund Arena in Cleveland. Diesel was expected to appear at those shows, be announced as injured, and then get involved in the match, and one would assume in the finishes, allowing Bret to retain the title. However, Diesel refused to make the bookings, leading to Goldust getting involved in East Rutherford and Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So chat me up. It looks like the wheels are coming off the Diesel Express here. He's not happy and he's hurt, and this is a reason to not appear. But you've often said here on the show, if you're advertised, you make the show, even if it's just to go out and wave, right?
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. I think that's, treating your audience with respect and doing what you need to do. And I think that Kevin just didn't want to do it.
What do you remember about, and I know this seems silly for us to double down on, but I am curious. Why do you think Kevin Nash wasn't interested in a triple threat concept? Why did he not? Do you know? Did you ever speak to him about that? Because it is an early thing.
No, I never spoke to him. It was said he was hurt, didn't want to do it. Okay, great. Next, if you want to get into the head of Kevin Nash, that's probably a pretty freaky place to be. But I think that at the end, if he did indeed have a deal, then it's like, why am I going to hurt myself here and jeopardize what I'm going to do down there?
I'm just saying, it feels like it's written that he didn't like the idea of a triple threat. Is that because the money would be cut three ways?
I don't know. I don't believe that. Okay. Maybe he did. I don't know. I never spoke to him about it. However, I would say that the mindset of him is like, why would I go in and get hurt? And if I am hurt, why would I take any risk and injure myself further?
Meltzer would continue later. At press time, the future of Diesel, also 36, and the WWF is speculative. The dressing room gossip was leaning towards the idea that he was also WCW bound, as he also has a family, and the WCW combination of guaranteed long-term money and easier travel schedule is more family friendly. Rumors have been that they're offering, depending upon who you believe, anywhere from $450 to $750 per year for a 3-year guaranteed deal to make the jump and go in as a heel and work a program against Hogan, which naturally would be the top angle in the company. Unlike the Scott Hall deal, this isn't considered as virtual of a lock, and more simply that the odds are better than 50% he'll make the jump. He's also been unhappy about his role in the WWF since the decision was made to take the title from him last year, and as of right now, the expectations were that we didn't know if Diesel would be back in time for MSG on March 17th. Instead of just waiting to find out, the WWF made the announcement at the East Rutherford show that the card was being changed to Diesel and Shawn against Bret and Undertaker. And now it's going to be Bret versus Shawn and Goldust versus the Undertaker. So they're making the change, even if he can appear. At this point, had you sort of already understood that, hey, he's playing it like he's not leaving, but he's leaving?
I was. Again, I just looked, you can read the tea leaves and read the writing on the wall, and I did not have the confidence that Diesel was even remotely thinking about staying. So to me, next. I think that there was some hope and probably a feeling on Vince's part that no, he'll come around, everything will be all right.
Do you think Kevin sort of slow rolled it? I mean, it's even written here that Diesel's window to give notice on his contract automatically renewing for 1 year was to end at the end of this week. So it feels like he's holding out until the very last minute. Is that just because he dreads disappointing Vince and telling him no? Or do you think maybe he's hoping something will change and he'll be happier creatively, or maybe Vince will come make some concession? Why do you think he waited until the last possible minute?
I think he didn't want to tell Vince.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. I don't know.
Well, it happens. Kevin Nash officially gave notice that he would be leaving the World Wrestling Federation to accept the offer from World Championship Wrestling in a phone call to Vince McMahon at 10:50 a.m. on March 5th. How fascinating is that when they pinpoint the time?
I'm sure Dave was on the other line. I'm sure Dave was right there with the exact, probably time stamped it, because he's there in everything. He knows everything. He's all knowing. He's a genius. He fucking gets everything right. Have you ever done, which, of course I get sent to me all there. Have you ever done that deep dive? Like we do deep dives and a sort of thing. We need to do. This is what we need to do.
No.
We need to do a deep dive on Dave Meltzer and the percentage of times that he was actually correct versus the times where he made up everything and was completely fucking wrong. And then probably find out that he's wrong 98% of the time.
I think you're 98% wrong in saying that. Scott Hall.
No, I'm 100% correct in saying that, because most of the shit he makes up or he guesses.
How would you know?
I do know. Because I do know when he writes his little shit.
You don't know. You weren't there.
100% fucking wrong. When he talks about meetings that I'm in, and Dave's not there, and there's only 2 other people in the room, there's no fucking way that he was there. And that what he says was discussed and or said is not even remotely close to factual.
I wasn't even there.
And that motherfucker's never stepped foot inside of a meeting with Vince McMahon when we're discussing any of this shit. Has never been in a creative meeting on this side of the table. Has never been in business. Think about this. Has never been in the business. Has never had any other business other than write gossip and make shit up. And since he was the only guy doing it, came across and became the wrestling journalist and the expert of shit that nobody else could ever fucking verify and or deny. That's who he is. As
a reminder, Scott Hall gave notice on February 20th.
What time did he give the notice? Was it telephone, telegraph, or telewrestler?
Nash is scheduled to start back with the WWF on March 15th after missing a few weeks with a separated and fractured shoulder. An inter-office memo sent in the WWF by Lyndon McMahon stated that there would be no change in previously scheduled bookings involving Nash, who would continue to work for the company through June 6, 1996. Do you remember Vince making an attempt to change his mind?
I would definitely bet that he did. I wasn't involved in any of those. So unlike Dave Meltzer, I'm not going to say that definitely happened because I wasn't involved in any of them, but I'm sure he did. I would not be surprised if he did.
Hypothetically, what do you think that context of that conversation would look like? Is it about, we're going to get back around creatively, or, we'll see if we can, create some new revenue opportunities, or you don't want to leave here. They don't know what to do with a guy like Kevin Nash. Do you have any idea what that pitch sounds like?
No, I don't. I think that more than anything, it would be an attempt to find out, what's more attractive on the other side that you don't have here, and is there a way that we could correct that? Is there a way that we could create what it is that you're looking for here? I mean, that's how I would approach it based on, and that's how I think Vince would approach it based on how he's approached other similar situations.
So it's not all bad news here, by the way. Brett and Undertaker team up to take on Shawn and Diesel at that March 17th Madison Square Garden show. And it's the first sellout for a non-pay-per-view event. Again, it's described as, in so many years, nobody can remember the last one. It also set an all-time gate record for a house show. So on Diesel's way out, it feels like things are starting to heat up. It's interesting how sometimes, because really there's no new signings, right? We just reshuffled the deck and fans are all over it.
Yeah, and you kind of shored up the creative and did some different things, and it's funny the comment about the last time it sold out that no one can even remember, because again, from his proficient business experience, that he doesn't realize that within our books we have all the dates and all of the houses for like the last couple of years in our books, literally, so we know what the trends are in each and every market. So yeah, of course he's factual here because he couldn't remember.
He's trying to put it over, but okay. WrestleMania.
Well, but by saying, so many years that no one can remember, we certainly could remember, those of us actually in the business doing the business. He couldn't remember because he makes so much shit up he can't remember his lies.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.